What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Nonito Donaire versus Alexandro Santiago, and this was a 12-rounder for the vacant WBC Bantamweight World Championship. And this fight was Saturday, July 29th from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this fight was broadcasted on Showtime pay-per-view. And in this fight, Alexandro Santiago was able to get the unanimous decision victory upset over Nonito Donaire to become the WBC Bantamweight Champion of the world. So this was a very, very good performance from Alexandro Santiago. He won, no doubt. He won easily. I think the scorecards were a little too close on the judges' part. They had it 115-113 and 116-112 twice in favor of Santiago. I thought Santiago won 118-110 or even 119-109. I thought Santiago won clear, and I thought he won pretty dominantly, I should say. This was a very good performance for him, like I said before. So just to really break down how this fight went, I thought the first half of this fight was really, really close, really, really competitive. First round, I gave to Alexandro Santiago. He was a bit more active. Second round, though, I gave it to Donaire. Donaire started to land more hooks, but it was a pretty close round. Round number 3, Donaire landed a massive left hook that sort of buckled Santiago and caused a cut on his eye. Then in the fourth round, rounds 4 and 5, I thought Santiago had the better work. And same in round number 6, was just a bit more active. So after 6 rounds, I had this fight pretty close at 58-56 in favor of Santiago. But then from rounds 7 through 12, Santiago, I don't know what he did. He just started working hard in the latter half of each round. The rounds would be pretty competitive for the first half. And then Santiago would just absolutely dominate Donaire in the last 30 seconds. The round would be pretty quiet. Santiago might have been ahead a little bit, but then he would further edge himself in the round in the last 20 seconds, throwing big combinations on Donaire. And he did that for almost every single round from round 7 through 12, and he was just tagging Donaire with fast combinations. And Donaire, he might have landed a left hook here and there, but he just wasn't doing enough. Santiago was way more active, doing much more in that latter half of the fight, especially in the latter half of those rounds. So really from round 7 through 12, I gave Santiago every single round for that very reason. And that ultimately equates to a 118-110 scorecard from me. But if you did watch this fight, comment down below how you did score it. I would imagine it's anywhere from 117-111 to 119-109 or 118-110 in Santiago's favor. I think the judges did have it a bit too close. But this goes in the question, what is next for Alexandro Santiago, now 28-3-5, with 14 knockouts, becoming the new world champion. Massive, massive win for him, becoming a champion here in this sort of free, pretty loose bantamweight division. And getting into some fighters he could fight next. If he wants to unify, he'd have to get through Takuma Inoue, who's the WBA champion, or possibly Jason Maloney, who's the WBO champion. But I don't think he's going to fight either of those guys. He could possibly fight for maybe an IBF unification. The IBF title is vacant, but he could have that in part with defending his WBC belt. He could defend his WBC belt, and then there could be a vacant IBF title on the line, and he could possibly face someone like Emmanuel Rodriguez, a Jerwin Encajas, or a Raymar Gaballo, and he could just defend his WBC title against those guys, or he could defend his WBC title along with fighting for a vacant IBF title against either of those guys, because those guys are ranked in the WBC and the IBF for the most part. So I think that's definitely an option for Santiago. But as for Nonito Donaire, losing here for the 8th time in his career, now goes to 42-8 with 28 knockouts. I mean, he was talking about being undisputed at bantamweight. That was his goal, but he couldn't even get past the first test, which was winning this world title. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to retire based on him saying that he was going to go undisputed. I think he's going to continue on fighting for maybe 2 more years. But, I mean, Donaire, he's still definitely a top 10 bantamweight, but this was a very, very tough loss for him considering he had such big goals. But for him in his next fight, I think he's going to fight someone in the top 10 in the bantamweight division in his next fight, because that's really all that's left. He doesn't have any room for tune-up fights. He's got to be fighting the best. So overall, Alexandro Santiago defeats Nonito Donaire by a clear unanimous decision to become the new WBC bantamweight champion of the world. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.